Without breaking YouTube's guidelines, the most I can tell you up front about this episode of Naughty's TV Hydra Sex and the City is that Lucy Liu is in it. Not even joking. Come dodge the demonetization stick with me, do remember to like and subscribe, and off we go. If you felt a strange chill as this episode began, it's not someone walking over your grave. It's because Brady Hobbes was just conceived. That's right, Miranda's got a bun in the oven. And she's dealing with it the same way she deals with everything. Explosive, indignant anger. It's pointed squarely at what she assumed were the tiny odds of Steve's Uniball and her underachieving ovary teaming up to produce spawn. Perhaps explaining why she became a lawyer and not, say, a sex ed teacher. There are two main conceits at play for Ms. Hobbes in this episode. Whether she'll tell Steve and whether she'll keep it. And while all of this is about an inch outside of my area of expertise, I'd be answering no on both counts. Why? Because emotionally, Steve's barely out of Pampers himself, and children are, as I have stated many times, the f***ing worst. What sucks about both of these conceits, however, is that the decisions on them are pressured somewhat out of Miranda's hands. The first by Carrie, more on that later, and the second by practically every other person she has to talk to about it, including her own doctor. And while I know I'm gonna regret this, here we go anyway. If one parent doesn't want a baby, as Miranda doesn't, but the other does, as Steve does, what's the likely outcome? At the risk of oversimplifying, it's like buying a pair of shoes you know you already hate from a store with a no returns policy. And I'm told it's less acceptable to bury children at the back of your closet. Ultimately, Miranda changes her mind at the last moment, and so the seeds are quite literally sown for some truly terrible storylines 2 decades later. It's times like these when I wish the show just went full sci-fi and had a time-traveling future Ms. Hobbes show up to Christmas Carol her 2001 self. God bless us everyone indeed. Charlotte, we discover early on this episode, has been trying for a baby with Omnishambles husband Trey for 5 months. And all she got was her period. And the basis for a banging souvenir t-shirt. This is, fairly obviously, coming at a bad time, given Miranda has accidentally done what Charlotte can't manage with deliberate, and dare I say, frighteningly intense action.
Mommy.
Swiftly proven true when she finds out, and immediately takes someone else's entirely private business extremely personally. Since Trey's test results showed that he somehow has perfectly agile swimmers, Charlotte begins to suspect that the issue might be with her plumbing, and so schedules some fertility testing of her own. And it's there where she discovers that, in a cruel, ironic twist, her body is producing its own spermicide. To which I say, fair play. I challenge anyone's reproductive organs not to become murderous at the prospect of producing something that shares 50% of its genetic code with an approximation of humanity even Victor Frankenstein would scrap and start over. After Miranda proves with a bit of well-intentioned stalking that in spite of Charlotte's self-centered attitude, she's still willing to show up for her, Mrs. McDougal eventually comes around and does the same in turn. And even manages to be genuinely happy when she discovers that baby Brady is on the way after all. Albeit, I imagine, with a few more pins heading for her Miranda voodoo doll. Nobody's perfect after all. Due to all of the unavoidable baby talk this episode, we revisit Carrie's Season 1 musings about motherhood.
Death to all of them.
namely the baby she chose not to have in 1988. When it comes back up, we get the suggestion that Carrie's main reason for not becoming a mother was that the father was a roller skating waiter, though her primary concern is making sure that nobody thinks he worked for TMI Fridays. Unclear whether that's a socio-economic thing or more to do with anyone thinking that this did it for her in the 80s. Despite the sensitivity of Miranda's situation, Carrie immediately does the worst thing possible, because why wouldn't she, and tells Aidan, who does not share the view that it's better not to tell Steve. Which is actually surprising because, well, he's met Steve. A man who at this point in his life has proven only that he can't even wipe his own arse properly but can pour a glass of wine. And I'm pretty sure neither of those are chapters in What to Expect When You're Expecting. Not one to undercomplicate a matter, Carrie also takes the opportunity to lie to Aidan, saying that she's never been in Miranda's position herself. Samantha suggests that this might be projection, an attempt to keep Aidan seeing her a certain way. I think it might be a bit late for that.
Are you cuckoo now? Are you going cuckoo on me?
And if her lie about all of this to Aidan is inexplicable, I defy you to come up with a sane rationale for why Agent of Chaos Bradshaw's next move is to show up at the workplace of her sliding doors baby daddy himself. Thankfully, he wounds her ego by not even remembering her. Prompting her to cover by saying that they were never actually intimate. Maybe her column is paid by the lie rather than by the word. The not exactly subtle point of all of this is to demonstrate that while it takes two to tango, the responsibility for the aftermath is automatically and unfairly shouldered by women. But, as you might expect, the show refuses to take a view on what the solution is, or to outright state that there isn't one.
Kalel, no!
Kalel, no!
Beyond men taking a turn getting pregnant themselves, of course, though for some of us, it's not for the lack of trying. Another taboo-busting storyline which the show, in essence, both sides. Although, in the interests of fairness, this did air in 2001, and some might argue it's an even bigger taboo today. After all, I can't even say the A word on YouTube because they list it as a controversial topic. Abort! Samantha's baby this episode is a red Birkin bag, which she wants as a status symbol of having made it. Proof that capitalism is an endless climb, because who exactly is seeing Ms. Jones on the street and thinking she's just fallen out of the nearest unemployment office? In further proof that Samantha is living life at a completely different level to any of her friends, she takes a meeting with Lucy Liu, with an eye to becoming her new PR guru.
Look, don't start with me, right?
Which she achieves largely by throwing all of her gay peers and their fashion sense under the bus. After discovering that her coveted Birkin has a 5-year waiting list, Sam immediately undercuts all her talk of classy representation by using her new client's name to skip the queue. And to her horror, the bag is delivered directly to Ms. Liu, who elects to keep it, but not the provably dishonest services of Samantha Jones PR. If only she'd used those critical thinking skills to question Tarantino's motives for putting her in Jikatabi slippers. And while I understand the show wanting to capitalize on its increasing notoriety with some star power, it does feel like a missed opportunity to have Samantha contribute more than a passing comment to the larger plot. Although, given this show's usual approach to subtlety, I'm not sure having her knitting in the corner of all of Miranda's scenes like a grim Chekhov's gun would have been much better. Keeping it as light as possible, this video's question is, have you ever betrayed a friend's confidence? Or has a friend ever betrayed yours? And how did it work out? Answers in the comments below please, and the best will be blurted out next time. Either way, thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, And as ever, if you can't be good, be crusty.